start over. How about now? Now we're good? Okay. On day 3 of your 10-day challenge, we're going to get chromatic. Yes, we're going to get chromatic. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Now, if you're new to the 10-day challenge and you want to take part of this free 10-day challenge, it's super easy. There's only 3 steps involved. Step 1, go to weplayeveryday.com. Step 2, join the Facebook group. And step 3, click on the course guide, which is at the very top of that Facebook group. It has all the details you're going to need to know to catch the archives, the replays, the tabs. It's all there. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Tony Policastro. I'm part of an underground group of acoustic guitar enthusiasts you've probably never heard of. We're not here to play face-melting guitar solos or judge other guitar players. Our purpose is much greater than that. For us, it's about expanding our quality of life through music and having fun with our guitar, not just mastering it. Getting better at guitar is proof that we do have what it takes to be a guitar player, which means we can build stronger bonds with friends and create lasting musical family traditions. But if you asked a guitar snob or a music academic, they would turn up their nose and say their way is better. Yet this way of seeing the guitar is changing lives every single day. We follow a specific framework and set of values that keeps us focused on what matters most: human connection, constant progress, and fun. It's happening, and we call it living the acoustic life. This is our acoustic life, and these are our stories. Welcome to day 3 of your 10-day challenge. I'm super pumped you're here. This feels good. I'm a hockey fan, so this is like the hat trick. We're on day 3, and there happens to be a hat trick of people in TAC Studios today. Myself, of course, Sir Noah Jacob Heckman Jr. the first, and Levi Coela, the man with the technical plan, in his strikingly blue V-neck, which looks outstanding. Happens to match Noah's blue flannel.
Blue is the theme.
Yeah. Did I wave at you guys already? Should I do that?
Hi, Tony.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Noah.
Levi.
Okay, good. I'm trying to really nail that every single time. The 10-day challenge, I just want to hit this business item up front. The 10-day challenge actually follows the Tony's Acoustic Challenge practice framework, meaning that we pull each exercise is pulled from the 5 essential categories of guitar improvement. So Mondays, we focused on a warm-up. Tuesday, a lick. Wednesdays, today, scale and improvisation. Thursdays, rhythm guitar. And Fridays, chord transitions and how chords fit within a key together. So today being Wednesday, we're going to go ahead and dive into learning a scale, and then actually going to have a chance to improvise with me here live today. And then, of course, tomorrow we're going to learn some rhythm guitar. In fact, you'll learn the exact rhythm that I'm using today for your backing track, but also some variations. So tomorrow's got a whole bunch chock full of awesomeness, rhythm guitar awesomeness, if you will. But today, let's focus on learning a scale and improvisation. So let's start today's challenge. All right, so today's challenge, first let me say, if you want to follow along with the tab is available. It's a pinned comment right beneath the video. Just look for it. It's a link that will open up the tab in a separate window. And,
Coming soon,
you
Tony.
can go ahead. Oh, sorry. And once that's there, you'll be able to go ahead and follow along with that. So here's how today's going to work. Today we're going to focus. I'm going to play the scale and some examples for you, just to kick it off, so you get an idea of the context of what we're getting into today. Then I'm going to break down the scale slowly, and we're going to learn a couple different variations, and I'm going to share with you some practice methods on how to best learn the scale. And then once we have that dialed in, I'll go ahead and play through the scale at a couple different tempos, so you can get a feel for it and maybe play along if you want to, and get an idea of how it sounds against a metronome. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and play just a basic, we'll call it a starter rhythm. So for those of you who are brand new to the improvisation, you can kind of get your feet wet a little bit. And then I'll go into a little bit more of a more complex rhythm. And what I mean by complex is it's not crazy complex. It's just going to involve some chord changes that you can play over and just kind of experiment with. And first things first, before I even start explaining the scale today, today is a day that we're just going to embrace mistakes. We're going to go into this lesson and say, you know what? Mistakes are going to happen. I'm going to make some funky noises, and that's all good. because the more funky noises that you're making, that means the more that you're actually learning and kind of pushing your boundaries of comfort a little bit, which is really crucial for improvisation. So there's no right, there's no wrong in today's lesson. Okay, I want to just put that up front, because improvisation can be a scary thing, but oftentimes it's our own kind of fears that are holding us back. So improvisation is really about just embracing that, hey, you know what, mistakes are going to happen, and they're totally okay, and today we're going to learn how to just work through those mistakes and improvise and get a start with that. So the scale we're going to be learning today, now, you're actually going to be learning two different scales today. I didn't want to overwhelm you at the beginning, so I just had to slip it in here. But I entitled today's exercise, How Chromatic of You, because I think I thought it was funny. It's like a play off the word romantic.
I really enjoyed it.
Did you?
Yeah, I was very happy with the title.
I mean, you know, when's Valentine's Day?
February.
Good talk. So this is in preparation for Valentine's Day. How chromatic of you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the C major scale, the C major scale, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If you go up to a piano and play all the white keys, that essentially is a C major scale. And then we're going to circle back around and fill in all the gaps. Okay, so we're going to play the chromatic version of the C scale. And they're going to sound entirely different. So it's very, very crucial that we start with the major scale, because that's the one that I will say is, we'll call it the most usable over the chord progression. But I'm introducing to you the chromatic scale because it's really comforting to know that there really are no wrong notes. It's just how you treat them and the context with which you present them. So let's start and dig in with the C major scale. Now, just for starters, this scale is wonderfully beautiful because it lays out directly over a C chord. So for starters, I want you to just make a C chord. Index finger on the first fret of the B string, middle finger second fret of the D, and ring finger third fret of the A. That's a classic C chord, a beautiful C chord, and we're going to start on that third fret of the A. Okay, that's our first note. So a downstroke there. Go ahead and lift up your middle finger, hit an open D string, lower that middle finger, second fret of the D, bring your ring finger down, third fret of the D, open G, which happens to be open right now. Whoops. Middle finger grabs the second fret of the G, lift up your index finger, open B string, and then lower it back down for the first fret of the B. Okay, so it's kind of, you're almost graduating your fingers up a string as you go through this scale. So again, I'll just go through that slowly. In fact, don't worry about pick direction right now. The only reason I'm saying pick direction is just because I have the scale tabbed out in eighth notes. But by no means are you required to play it in eighth notes. Okay, this is just, I just wanted I wanted it to be written down so you could see the scale laid out on the tablature. But by no means are you required to play it any certain way. When I do bring the metronome into the picture, I will play it how it is tabbed. Just keep that in mind. But as far as getting familiar with where the notes are, there's no right or wrong here. Just make sure that your fingers are hitting the right notes. So again, those are third fret of the A, open D, second fret of the D, third fret of the D, open G, second fret of the G, open B, first fret of the B. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, and then of course the way that I have it tabbed out, I've done a descending version of it as well. So starting from that high C, that first fret of the B, we'll go first fret of the B, open B, second fret of the G, open G, third fret of the D, second fret of the D, open D, and then third fret of the A. So altogether that will sound like so. Now I'm going to actually play that with a metronome. I'm going to play it just at 60 beats per minute so we kind of have a nice bass line, and then I'm going to show you some ways to practice that scale that will really help lock in the shape and where those notes are. So this is just 60 beats per minute, the basic C major scale. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. basic C major scale. It's not about speed here. I just wanted to give you a baseline, a kind of a gauge to see where you're at with a metronome. It's not necessary, though. I'd much rather you leave this lesson being like, okay, I know the C scale. I know where those notes are. It makes sense. It sounds like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It sounds happy. It sounds familiar. That's the main goal here, okay? And then for those of you who maybe know the scale already or are getting familiar with the scale, I'm going to jump into a way to actually practice the scale. I'm going to show you two ways. One of them I didn't tab out just because it's a little bit far-reaching, but it's a great skill that I want to share with you. But this next one, we're still going to be doing the C major scale, and this is in measures 3, 4, 5, and oh gosh, it actually goes quite a bit. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the tablature. The basic C major scale is measures 1 and 2, and the way that we're about to go through it is in measures 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this is I guess I tend to call this note grouping. I don't know if that's the correct name or maybe note clustering, but essentially we're going to take groups of 4 notes. Starting on the very first note of the C scale, that 3rd fret of the A, we'll go 3rd fret of the A, open D, 2nd fret of the D, 3rd fret of the D. All right, so that's a group of 4 notes. And we started on that 3rd fret of the A. Da, 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 da. Now we're going to start on what would normally be the next note in the C major scale. So if we started on that 3rd fret of the A, group of 4, now we're going to start on the open D string and do the next group of 4. Open D, 2nd fret of the D, 3rd fret of the D, open G. All right, so that's first group of 4, second group of 4, and then we'll do the next group of 4 starting on the next linear scale degree, which is actually going to be the 2nd fret of the D string, right? And we'll do another group of 4 from that note. And that'll be 2nd fret of the D, 3rd fret of the D, open G, 2nd fret of the G. All right? Okay. And then, of course, we're going to pick it up again on the next linear scale degree, which would be the 3rd fret of the D string. Yeah, so that would be the 3rd fret of the D, open G, 2nd fret of the G, open B, and then we're going to move to the next scale degree, starting on the open G string, 2nd fret of the G, open B, 1st fret of the B. So it's a group of 4 starting on each scale degree. Now, it's a little hard to hear the flow of it or the vibe of it if I just do it in groups of 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the entire exercise ascending, and I'm going to be emphasizing that first note of each group of 4. So that's going to sound like this. So this is a great way to practice a scale. It's a fantastic way to practice a scale because your fingers are going through really an exercise, but it's a very, very musical exercise, one that's very, very important. So at speed, it would sound... I just wanted to give you the whole vibe so you can kind of hear it. It has almost a cascading effect. It's a great way to practice a scale. By no means is it necessary for today's improvisation. I just want to throw that little nugget at you guys because a lot of times it's like, okay, I learn the scale and then I go to play solo or an improvisation and it just sounds like I'm going... which is totally fine if you're just starting, but if you're reaching that point to where it's like, I want a little bit more, that cascading or that note clustering way of practicing and working through a scale is a great way to kind of get some licks going and just have the scale sound a little bit different. There's another way that will help you with the actual shape itself, and that is just referencing the root note. And for the C scale, C major scale will be this 3rd fret of the A string, okay? So we're going to go through... We're going to hit that note, go to the next note, which is an open D, come back to that 3rd fret of the A, and then hit the 2nd fret of the D, go back to that 3rd fret of the A, hit the 3rd fret of the D, back to the 3rd fret of the A, open G, back to that 3rd fret of the A, 2nd fret of the G, back to the 3rd fret of the A, open B, and then back to the 3rd fret of the A, and then eventually you'll end up on that 1st fret of the B. Okay. That's just a great way to realize the shape and always reference that root note. Total aside, just a great way to practice the scale. Now let's get into the next scale that you're going to learn, which is based on the C major scale. That's why we started out with it, but again, we're going to fill in the gaps and learn the chromatic scale. So this is going to sound like basically if you went starting on a C note on a piano and hit white key, black key, white key, black key, white key, black key, white key, white key, black key, white key, black key. All the notes, okay? That's what it means. But we're starting on a C and ending on a C, hence it being the C chromatic scale. So we're going to start again on that 3rd fret of the A, and then go to the 4th fret of the A using our pinky. Okay, really weird sounding already. That's okay, just bear with me. Open D, 1st fret of the D, 2nd fret of the D, 3rd fret of the D, 4th fret of the D, open G, 1st fret of the G, 2nd fret of the G, 3rd fret of the G, open B, 1st fret of the B. Okay, very strange sounding scale. Okay, very, very bizarre. A quick note, on the tab, I actually forgot to add the 4th fret of the A string. I just realized it as I sat down and I looked at it and I thought, oh, darn it. So just know that there's one extra note in the scale that's not on the tab. It's 3rd fret of the A and then 4th fret of the A, okay, with your pinky. And I'm playing this all out of a 1st position, meaning my index finger is going to cover everything on the 1st fret, middle finger, everything on the 2nd, ring the 3rd, and pinky the 4th. So let me go ahead and play that chromatic scale with you. I'm going to play it at 60 beats per minute just so you kind of get a feel. I'll do it ascending and then descending. Okay, so that's going to sound like this. This is 60 beats per minute. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of a bizarre sounding scale again, but what I want to, the point I want to make with showing you the C major scale and then showing the C chromatic scale is that as you're doing this chromatic scale, I want you to keep in mind where those spots are of the C major scale. Okay. Now, another disclaimer here: if you're brand new to improvisation, don't necessarily concern yourselves too much with the chromatic scale. Focus your efforts on the C major scale. Okay. If you've kind of dealt with the C major scale before and you're wanting a little bit more out of it, then start to kind of work into this chromatic idea. Okay. And the reason is the chromatic scale is it has some quote unquote wrong notes within it. Okay, so it's a little bit tough to use. So start with that C major scale, and then we'll start working with the chromatic scale. Levi, was there a question?
Yeah, can you just before you go on, can you specify the difference between chromatic and pentatonic scales?
Yeah, so there's actually there's a lot of different names for scales. So we have the C major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then the C chromatic scale. So the C major scale is made up of 7 notes. The C chromatic scale is made up of 12 notes. The C pentatonic scale is made up of 5 notes. Penta, that's the root word there. Pentatonic, 5 notes. So in terms of how to think of them, okay, here we go. Any Grateful Dead fans out there? I'm sure you're out there. So if I go to the record store and I buy every single Grateful Dead album that was ever made, I'm talking live cuts, deep cuts, B-sides, studio albums, the whole deal, that's the chromatic scale. Okay? If you buy just one album that has some hits, but it doesn't have, some of the songs aren't necessarily great or popular, I should say, that's the major scale. If you buy the greatest hits, that's the pentatonic scale. Okay? The pentatonic scale essentially is 5 notes because there's 2 notes that are removed from the major scale. that are the most emotionally charged. And in that way, the pentatonic scale is a very safe and a very easy a place to start improvising, because none of the notes are going to be offensive or dissonant. And when you add those 2 extra notes in and it becomes the major scale, then all of a sudden you have some more opportunity for some dissonance and things that sound okay but not quite right. If you add the chromatic scale in, then it's like all bets are off. So hopefully that illustration makes it a little bit more clear. Just for an auditory example, the C major pentatonic will sound like this. Think, what's that song? I've Got Sunshine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's major pentatonic, okay? And then major scale, think do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
My Girl, technically.
My Girl, yeah.
Yeah.
That I've Got Sunshine is the first. Yeah, thanks. So hopefully that clears that up. So what I want to do now is, so we're going to start improvising right now, this very second, as soon as I take a sip of coffee. What I want to do is, for those of you who are brand new to improvising, for those of you who might not be comfortable even with the notion of improvising, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just strum a C chord. Okay? And what I want you to do is play that C major scale at whatever speed, just back and forth over that C major, the C chord that I'm going to strum. I'm not going to change chords at all. And the reason I'm having you do this is because it takes some skill in getting used to playing single notes, something different than rhythm guitar. Okay? We're not mirroring, we're actually playing something different. Single notes versus strumming chords. And that takes a while to get used to. So I'm going to go ahead and strum a chord, just a C chord. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to do that for about, 30 seconds or so, just so you can get used to this notion of, okay, I'm just going to play single notes while the rhythm guitar is going. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring in a little bit more complex chord progression for everybody. So here goes nothing. It's just a C chord. Just play that C major scale note for note as I play this. Okay, so that's just a basic C major scale, or C major chord rather, that I'm strumming, and all I wanted you to do was play the C major scale over it. Okay, nothing too crazy. I'm not looking for face melting leads here. I'm not looking for this like beautifully composed thing. I just want you to get used to the notion of playing single notes while the rhythm guitar is happening. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is play a C major chord progression. Okay, I'm going to do C for 4 bars, F for 4 bars, and G for 4 bars. Basically, I'm going to stay on C for a while, move to F, move to G, and I'm going to highlight those chord transitions with bass walks so you know that they're coming. So what I want you to do now is, with that C major scale or the C chromatic scale, I want you to start messing around and seeing if you can find something that sounds good over those chord changes, okay? You don't even have to name it. You don't even have to know what it is, okay? Just use either of those 2 scales and see if you can find something that sounds good to you, because the fact of the matter is, if it sounds good, it is good. Plain and simple. If it sounds good, it is good. You don't even have to be able to explain it at this point. In fact, it's better off that you can't explain it at this point. Just take that analytical part of your brain and just set it aside for a second and just mess around with the scale until you find something that sounds good. Now, a quick note for those of you who are messing with the chromatic scale, there's going to be some notes that are going to sound really funky, okay? But the beautiful thing is that there's a good note that's literally just a fret away. So one of the quick things you can do is, while I'm going over a C chord, the first 2 notes of the chromatic scale is that 3rd fret of the A and the 4th fret of the A. Okay? You can actually just go between those 2 notes over the C chord. Okay? And you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, well, Tone, if I do this, that's just gonna wreck my whole thing. It's gonna sound scary. Yeah, it's gonna sound scary, but it's the context. If you actually end on that note and you're like, yeah, over a C chord, it doesn't sound good at all. I'll totally agree with you. But if you present it in a different context or rhythm, you can actually make that sound very, very cool. Case in point, I want you to mess with those two notes, but always come back to that C note. So it could be like... The notes that I'm using, there's 50% of them that aren't within the C major scale. But it's the rhythm and the way that you present them that makes them allowable, okay? If you stop dead in your tracks on one of those notes that are outside the C major scale, it's going to call attention to it and sound a little bit bizarre. However, if you use it as a passing tone or as kind of a little hiccup in the rhythm, or what I like to call an ear bender. Actually, I learned that from watching lesson videos from Jimmy Heffernan, great dobro teacher, an ear bender. If you use them as an ear bender, it's okay, but just always return to a scale note because then it makes us feel settled. See, the reason that those chromatic notes, those notes outside the major scale sound bizarre is because they make us feel on edge. They're incredibly impactful emotionally. So that being the case, make sure to return us to home base before you take us on another space journey. That was a reference to the show that we just saw. So I'm going to go ahead and play some rhythm for you guys. Again, it's going to be 4 measures of C, 4 measures of F, 4 measures of G. And I'm going to loop it a couple of times because I want you to really sink into this. And please give yourself permission to make as many quote-unquote mistakes as you possibly can. Okay, it's one of the best ways to learn is to kind of go down the wrong road, reverse, and then come back and get on the right track. So here we go. This is going to be, yeah.
Before you start,
yeah.
Can you say again what note was missing from the tab?
Oh, yeah.
That they can write in
it's
if they want to.
Actually, yeah. So the note that's missing from the chromatic portion of the scale, which happens to start on measure 8, is you'll see the 3rd fret of the A string noted in the tab, but I'm missing the 4th fret of the A string, which is your pinky note right there. Okay? It's probably about the dooziest of all the chromatic notes, which maybe I subconsciously left it out of there on purpose. But that's the note that I left out, just so we're all on the same page. So I'm going to go ahead and start that rhythm, unless there's any other questions before we dive in.
We're good.
Start? Okay, cool. Here we go. Here we go, starting on the C chord. So there you go. That was a backing track, and I just ended it with the lick that we learned yesterday because it popped in my head, and I thought, oh, that'd be cool to end it with. Anyways.
That was good.
But you can see, so in terms of, why I chose the backing track the way that I did, it's a basic chord progression in the key of C. Basic in terms of its content, okay? Just a C chord, an F chord, and a G chord. And what I did is I tried to integrate some chromatic bass walks so you can actually hear wrong notes phrased in the right way. Hopefully that makes sense. Now I really don't believe in wrong notes. They're all correct. It's just in how you present them, and that's a great case on the rhythm end of things, to where you can present the wrong notes, but if you use them as a walk up, it actually builds anticipation, and it helps you follow and signal chord changes. And then of course on the soloing end, on your guys' end, those chromatic notes can actually help really charge up in terms of emotion a certain passage or a certain lick you might be trying to play. And then when you land on a chord note, it releases that tension. It feels like home. So hopefully you had fun with that. Now, I encourage you to go ahead and rewind this as many times as you want on that. You can access the replay on the course guide within the Facebook group there. It's right on top. So go ahead and grab the replay and go through that as many times as you want. I think it will really help and hopefully shed some light on, hey, this isn't so scary. I just got to give myself permission to kind of make some mistakes and go out on a limb, if you will. And again, if you're wondering, okay, well, how do I participate with this free 10-day challenge? It's actually super easy. Just go to weplayeveryday.com. Once you're there, click on join the Facebook group. And once you're in the Facebook group, all you have to do is click on the course guide. It has all the details that you need. So guys, I want to address some questions. I'm sure there are some questions because this is a pretty wide-ranging topic.
Yep.
If that's okay with you guys, because I think according to my notes, I should answer some questions.
Yeah,
I got some for you.
Go ahead, Noah.
Yeah. Okay, so first up, let me find it. I got a list here. I wanted to ask a specific one first. Here we go. Ed asks, yesterday you were using the pinky on 4th fret of the G string to get the B note.
Correct.
Today, you're playing it as an open B string note. Why the difference?
It's really, I guess I don't really have a good reason for you. You can really do it either way. In fact, that would actually make more sense. I'm glad you brought that up. If I was doing that chromatic scale, kind of keep those pinkies going. I actually really like that. That's a great call, Ed. But really, truly, it depends on the musical situation. A lot of times, if I'm using a slide from one note to another note, maybe I'll actually, because I want to grab that vocal quality, I can't really do that on an open string. However, something like where I want that slide to a B note, I'll choose the fretted B note over that open B note. But neither's right or wrong here. It's really what you're comfortable with. So maybe I was trying to subconsciously give you guys' pinkies a break. But of course, if you want some more work for the pinky, by all means, you can do it that way too. And actually, mentally, it makes a little bit more sense. So I like that. It makes it a fully movable scale at that point. Right? So if it's fully movable, that means we can change its key, so on and so forth.
A lot of great comments. It's kind of hard to keep up with them, but definitely some shout outs too.
Are there hearts? Do we have hearts going by yet?
I think that's a great idea. There have been a lot of hearts.
Oh, good.
A lot of likes, but if you haven't liked or hearted, you should show Tony your appreciation.
Let's get chromantic.
Because I know everybody's digging it. Because the comments are flooding in. Jim says the improv fog is clearing.
Oh, good.
There are small wins. A lot of small wins and light bulb moments going on with improvisation. So, guys, thanks for the feedback. Keep that coming. When Tony goes back through this later, he'll of course look at all of those. But Noah, do you have anything over there?
I do. Got some more. And so next up, Brian asks, my confusion is how to solo over chord changes. Do you change your skill each time the rhythm chord changes too?
That's a fantastic question, and I want to tell you, Brian, that you, myself, and pretty much every other guitar player has this question at some point, and it's like when I was first getting into learning scales and things like that, I thought to myself, okay, I have to learn every single scale ever, because if I'm playing a C chord, then I'll use the C scale. If I'm playing an F chord, then I have to use the F scale. That's not true. It's a common myth, and it's very easy. Logically, it sounds like, oh, well, the scales match with the chords. So, but that's a myth. Okay, as long as I'm playing a rhythm chord progression in the key of C, in this case I was playing C, F, and G, you can stick to the C major scale. Okay, I want to say that one more time. As long as the key of the rhythm or chord progression that you're playing matches the scale that you're using, you'll never have to leave that scale. Okay, that's a pretty bold statement, but it's the truth. Okay, so think of it as if you're crossing a creek, okay? And you see kind of these rocks in the water, and you're like, okay, I'm going to step on that one, that one, that one, that one. I'll get over to the other side. That's exactly what the scale is. Think of the water rushing by as the chord progression, and then you're just popping on rocks, and boom, you're safe on the other side. So as long as you match the key of the scale to the key of the chord progression, you'll never have to move that scale. Now, that being said, within that scale, there are notes that will sound good over certain chords. Okay, I'll say that one more time. Within the scale, there are notes that will sound good over certain chords. We'll call those chord tones. Okay, because all of the chords in a key's chord progression are made up from that key's scale. Okay, so, and the reason I choose the C major scale for this particular exercise that we're all doing together is that really that C major scale follows the chords to the chord progression, right? We have our C, we have our F, and we have our G. You might think, well, gosh, that G I don't remember hitting any of those notes when we did the scale. They're the open strings, right? So if you're over an F chord, all of those notes are a part of the scale. If you're holding a C chord, all of those notes are part of the scale, and you can use those to improvise. Right? And then, of course, that G chord, you have those open strings in the middle. Right? So within that scale, so we've matched the scale to the chord progression. Now your job is to, when that rhythm track is going, if you want to do the replay, now your job is going to be, okay, I have my scale. I know that it fits with the chords. What notes within the scale sound really good over the F chord? What notes within this scale sound really good over the C chord? And the cool thing is they're all going to sound good, but some are going to sound the best or be the best match, and we call those chord tones. That's an awesome question.
So, Tony, I noticed there's actually a lot of questions today.
Yeah, I believe it.
And so maybe to give Noah time to mark those down.
I have them.
Do you want to go into reviewing the announcements?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Noah's got some awesome small wins.
Cool.
That people have been reporting.
Great.
What do you think about that?
I think that's fantastic.
Okay.
So big announcements, two announcements that, I'm just really excited about. So the first announcement is that the 10-day challenge actually coincides with the first official public opening of Tony's Acoustic Challenge. If you go to tonysAcousticChallenge.com right now, you'll see that you can join the waiting list, but you can't just enroll. Okay, but starting on, and I do this every time, I'm looking at the calendar, the 29th. Is that correct?
So Monday.
Yeah, starting next Monday, the 29th, through the 1st of February. This is a 4-day window that Tony's Acoustic Challenge will actually be open for you to enroll. So if this is something that is interesting to you, if you like the vibe of the 10-day challenge, this is actually exactly what you're going to get within Tony's Acoustic Challenge, within the membership. Every day, you're going to get a brand new exercise, and it's going to be pulled from the 5 essential categories of guitar improvement, just like we've been doing throughout this 10-day challenge. And if you log in on a Wednesday, you're going to get a chance to play a scale and use that scale to improvise. And the cool thing about that is, here we're doing it live, so I guess I could play for an hour straight and give you guys an opportunity to just improvise until your hearts are content. But the beautiful thing about within TAC is that the videos they loop, so you can press play on a backing track, and if you're really into it, you can give it a good half hour, and you just let the video loop and away you go. So I'm super pumped about that. And again, the dates on that, January 29th, it's next Monday, through February 1st. TAC will be open for enrollment. So if this is a community that you dig, if this is stuff that you really like, I would encourage you to try it out. Please come on in and be a part of the Guitar Geek community. I'd love to have you in there.
I'm super curious. Is anybody planning on joining on Monday? Let us know in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions about Tony's Acoustic Challenge, there's a lot of members in here with us, I think, right now. So
yeah, there's a ton.
A lot of people who can answer your questions. Let us know.
I saw one of the posts. I forget the name. The name is escaping me. But he's like, yeah, talked with the wife about the prices and things. And of course, if you go to Tony'sAcousticChallenge.com, you'll be able to see pricing information and things like that. He's like, as soon as enrollment opens, I'm in. And I was just like, I was super pumped because that's an important conversation to have. You know,
I think that was Jason.
Jason. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
we had an Ed and we had a Brian today, and it scrambled me just temporarily. In fact, I was at my computer and I was like, I got to remember it's Jason. So thanks for leaving that comment, Jason. And then the second announcement, and this one's really, really cool. So cool is actually cool is not an accurate description for this announcement. This announcement is really exciting and truly fantastic. Outstanding, if you will. Magnificent is also another one I'd like to throw in there. So this announcement involves the Acoustic Life Festival. Okay. And the Acoustic Life Festival is going to be happening in Bozeman on, if I'm looking off camera, I'm just looking at a calendar. Acoustic Life Festival is happening in Bozeman, June 22nd and June 23rd. Okay, it's going to be 2 nights of world-class acoustic guitar acts. There's going to be workshops in the morning for those who wish to participate in those, a live taping of the Acoustic Tuesday show, Guitar Geek meet and greet, and just overall, Bozeman's going to become the epicenter of guitar geekiness for 2 days. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be guitar cases all over Main Street, people walking, people talking, guitar geeks sharing gear stuff. You get the idea. And we've been getting a ton of questions about, well, how I've loved the idea. It sounds amazing. I'd love to come to Bozeman. How do I get there, and when do tickets go on sale? Well, that's my announcement, and I also have a really important announcement after this. So tickets are going to go on sale Sunday, January 28th. The ticket sales are going to start at 9 a.m. for Tony's Acoustic Challenge members. And then at 4 p.m., the tickets will open up to the general public. Now, there are a limited amount of tickets. There's about 295. That's the number that sticks out. I think there's a little bit. Is that overshooting the mark?
It's somewhere.
Okay.
There. Yeah.
Anyways, I get scrambled. There's a lot of numbers. There's a really limited amount of tickets, and the venue's really gorgeous. It's one of those venues that's intimate. It sounds beautiful. It's the Rialto Theater in Bozeman. It just got redone. But anyways, tickets are going to go on sale Sunday, January 28th, 9 a.m. for TAC members, 4 p.m. for the general public. So have your trigger finger ready for that, because I'm pretty sure it's going to sell out. It's really cool. So let me add my announcement 2.b to this announcement, because they're related. Now, at the very beginning of the 10-day challenge that we're doing here live, I ran through an acoustic lifestyle design exercise. Okay, which kind of essentially prompts you to evaluate, what experiences you want to have with your guitar. How do you want the guitar to help you grow as an individual or with the guitar? And then how do you want the guitar to help you contribute? How can you contribute with your guitar? And if you didn't participate in that exercise, please go to day one's replay and check that out. It's in the course guide. You'll be able to find it there. But that contribution section is one that it coincides directly with the Acoustic Life Festival, because all of the proceeds for the Acoustic Life Festival are going to a fantastic organization that really is using the power of music to really help change people's lives. It's Guitars for Vets. It's a non-profit program started in Wisconsin, and it actually they use learning the guitar as a healing therapy, really, for vets that are coming back home and are having some troubles adjusting and just overall having troubles. It's such a powerful instrument. They're using it for such good. So I'm super pumped to announce that all the proceeds from Acoustic Life Festival are going directly to Guitars for Vets. And rather than me try and explain how impactful Guitars for Vets is. There's a really cool video that we have queued up, so I want you guys to take a look at that, and then we'll come back for some more questions and small wins and things.
Evening, she's a singer with the band.
Right now, Guitars for Vets operates 60 chapters in 30 states. We've given away over 2,000 new guitars. We have over 200 volunteers nationwide, and I can't even count the amount of volunteer hours. I'm Patrick Nettesheim.
And I'm Dan Van Busker.
I knew I wanted to be a musician and a guitar player, probably back when I was 4 or 5 years old. And at that time, I also thought I wanted to help heal people. I met Dan in 2006.
Something just told me that I should get a guitar and not worry about how well I do, but just get started.
Good. When Dan showed up to his first lesson, he told me that he was suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
We just hit it off right away, and the lessons were really meaningful because we were like a couple of brothers coming together.
Keep going with that. I'm going to switch chords up a little bit.
And we could just share so much with each other.
I was not in the military. I didn't know a lot about Vietnam. And Dan opened up and he shared with me.
I wanted to join the Peace Corps, but my dad asked me to serve my country. When I came back from Vietnam, after spending a year being chased by enemy reconnaissance teams, North Vietnamese, Viet Cong, I saw man as a predator. In civilian life, it only takes one traumatic event to create PTSD. In combat, a combat soldier might go through that several times a day or several times a week, so you can imagine the urgency that I feel in helping combat Marines or combat soldiers.
And when you put this guitar in the hands of somebody that is sinking deeply into depression, it opens up a window of serenity for them, enough that they can understand that they are capable of feeling good again.
I think I knew we were on to something from how it helped me to be with Pat and play the guitar.
You just go on and on with it. It's beautiful.
When Patrick and I were taking lessons, I enjoyed it so much I suggested that we go to the VA and reach out to the other vets.
So we did that to play for men and women in spinal rehab, to perform for them.
And that's how we got started. We took the guitar through the units.
We'd put the guitar around them and just reach around and play it while it resonated in the center of their being. Guitars for Vets is based on the notion of guitars, music, camaraderie, and helps veterans find some joy in their journey towards recovery.
It's an extension of the good things I learned in the Marine Corps. It's an extension of I got your back kind of love.
Fifth string A.
The way the Guitars for Vets program works is veterans are referred to us by their caseworkers in the VA medical centers.
Play A.
After the 10th lesson, they graduate. They're given a brand new guitar. Here's our slogan here: the healing power of music in the hands of heroes.
So what a deal. They get to start their music with an instrument they worked for, and they're learning how to play, and it can be with them the rest of their life.
After that graduation, they're encouraged to return to group lessons or group jams so we can continue to build that teamwork and camaraderie.
They're not getting diagnosed. They're not having to retell their story over and over again. It's a group of veterans sitting together, playing together, making music together.
Thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate it.
We want to give these new guys more green lights than we had when we came home. We want to help them, we want to mentor them, we want to make their life better. We're taking them here and we're saying, you're wonderful, we love you just the way you are. Let's go with this. Let's rock and roll and have some fun.
All right, so that was the Guitars for Vets program. And I'm just super excited to announce that all the Acoustic Life Festival proceeds are going to go towards that organization. And just really one that gets the whole notion of how powerful guitar music can really be. I said this, I think I said this yesterday, I've said this a lot, but guitar has helped me personally through a ton of just stuff, life stuff. And to see it helping other people that are really struggling is pretty inspiring. So super pumped about that. And of course, pumped about the Acoustic Life Festival, and then I'm pumped about growing the Guitar Geek community as well. So, Noah, questions? You got any queued up for me? Sorry.
Yeah, I do. Yep, we got a few left.
Okay.
I know we want to get onto the small wins and things. Dan asks, first he says, great shows. He says, I'm a beginner. Can you briefly discuss hand and thumb position on the guitar neck?
Oh, that's a fantastic question, yeah. So I'm going to actually use the C chord because that's what we've been doing today. Now, quick note, my thumb it's like one of those hitchhiker thumbs, so it's real bad. It bends further backwards than it does forward. So keep that into account, or keep that in mind when you look at my thumb. I generally like to have my thumb right in the center of my C chord. So it's almost as if my thumb and my middle finger are meeting. And as far as where my thumb's located, it's located directly on kind of the peak of the neck profile. This has a little flat spot on the back of the profile, but right on that peak of the neck profile is where I like to have my thumb, because it seems to offer me the best, most solid feel. That being the case, even when I change to bar chords, it kind of stays in that same spot, because I want the thumb to be almost centrally located. I mean, it's not a measurement by any means, but really what's comfortable and what allows you the most leverage and most well, I guess leverage is the word I'm looking for. It gives you the most leverage and control over your fretting hand, whether you're doing single notes or full chords. And that's why I kind of stress, at the beginning of an exercise, I'll say, hey, this is in the first position, because that allows me to kind of, and allows you guys to keep your thumb in one spot throughout that whole exercise. When I say in one spot, of course you can move it a little bit either way. That's totally fine. It's not supposed to be cemented back there. But the high point of the profile, the back of the neck, and then it's kind of centrally located, almost as if I was going to go like that with my finger, right? Just kind of hit that area in between my middle and ring finger, kind of in that, maybe more on the middle finger side of things. So hopefully that helps.
Yes. Sorry, Levi and I are just looking at each other.
I know, you guys are...
Well, okay, yeah, we there are questions, but mainly there's just a lot of guitar love going on.
Oh, sweet.
And so we're just shooting each other glances like, this is amazing. Getting goosebumps, and a lot of people reporting stories of guitar helping them.
Awesome.
With things, but also specific stories of people, having, stories of it helping their PTSD as well.
Nice.
A lot of really good stuff. And then a question just came in on, if we can't make it to Bozeman, how can we help Guitars for Vets? And I think that's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
We'll be announcing more stuff later. We're focusing on the event right now, but we have talked to Patrick in detail, and this is just one of the first things that we conceptualized to be able to help Guitars for Vets. But we have other plans in the works. We think this event will actually help us become one of their top donors. But it's just a fraction of some of the plans that we have. And people who don't make it to Bozeman for that event will definitely be a part of that. So stay tuned.
For sure.
So with that said, Noah, do you have other questions?
You guys are so fun. I'm like, I want to be in. I want to see a screen. It's like it's killing me.
Do you want to read some of those comments?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. I got to open my LaCroix here soon.
Okay.
Yeah, you should. You sound parched.
And I positioned my camera a little low today, so I'm like stooping down and it's all awkward. But I don't want to move anything because things might break.
I'm just going to do it.
Thank you, Noah.
Yeah.
Noah gave me a LaCroix beforehand as well. And
Yeah,
by the way,
thanks for that.
We're going to get to the Q&A. We're going to get to the small wins. But Noah, this is just such a cool thing. So if you have some of those comments queued up.
Yeah, let me scroll back down here. It's amazing just knowing that music and guitar is touching people's lives like that, and then it helps us reflect. And so, like, here's one from Dan. He says, "So lucky I decided to start playing guitar 1 week ago and found Tony and friends, feeling blessed."
Awesome.
And no doubt watching the Guitars for Vets helps bring that out. Which I want to add here, I am a Navy brat, so my dad's retired Navy, so appreciate all those who have served and who are serving. All right, Levi, if you see one too, don't be shy and
okay.
And go on out.
Yesterday, when I ventured over to your computer, Noah, I quickly realized how difficult it is to see the comments. And now I get it.
So Toby says, about it. Toby says, so touching. Don said, this is excellent. Jim said, and I thought this should be a quote. He said, no one is ever mad at someone when they are playing the guitar.
So true. So true.
Claudia says, I'll come out with this. I've struggled with severe depression most of my life. PTSD related. Playing the guitar helps not just my mind, but my brain. A perfect meditation for healing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a great point because I think one of the reasons we resonate with Guitars for Vets so much is that is sort of the dialogue and the theme of Tony's Acoustic Challenge. If it can do this much for vets and PTSD, like what can it do for people who are just going through their everyday lives? Like
it's a sliver of awesomeness.
Yeah. So thanks for all your comments, guys. Really appreciate it. Do you guys want to do small wins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was more.
Yeah. Those two. Here we go.
All right. Small wins. Michael, he says, small win and fam jam. My wife joined me last night for the exercise. She's taking classical lessons online.
Nice.
I'm a self-taught roots player. She breezes through the exercises while I stumbled my way through. Lesson learned, practice.
Awesome.
And hopefully I say this right. Is it Elettra? Says, I've been taking guitar lessons for 3 years, so I'm still a newbie. I am enjoying the live challenge, and it's helping me along. I will be bringing my hubby online. He's been playing for over 40 years, but everyone can benefit from the drills and exercises.
Killer.
Thanks. Tim says, in my 50s, and picked up a guitar for the first time about a year ago. Never had a private lesson, but found Tony and the guys on YouTube. Went for the fretboard wizard course, and struggled to say the least. He says, but joined TAC in December and been practicing every day this month. I am now starting to feel like a guitar player. I experience small wins every day and numerous light bulb moments.
That's awesome.
Went from struggling with 3 chords to improvisation, fingerstyle, flat picking in just a few short months. Love the learning environment, attitude, and format. Thank you, guys.
That's wow. That's
Can I keep
fantastic.
going?
Yeah,
Sure.
please.
All right. So Ron says, I am 66, just beginning. I want to thank you for supporting the Guitars for Veterans program.
Awesome.
I'm attending one in Clarksburg, West Virginia, at the VA hospital. And after 10 weeks of attendance, they give the veterans a new guitar to take home.
Awesome.
How cool is
That's
that?
great.
And, all right, here's what. So Terry wrote in, and here's what he has to say. We were all kind of talking about this one this morning. Hi, everyone. I came home yesterday from hospital following my first chemotherapy session for lymphoma cancer, stage 4, which is treatable and curable, especially if you're lucky enough to have access to the most precious therapeutic sounds in our lives, our guitars, and 10 minutes of day practicing. TAC. Love you guys. Whilst recovering in the ward, I listened to the last 2 priceless recordings of the 10 Days to Success, and what brilliant therapy I was treated to. Tony and the guys, you're absolutely awesome in the way that you lift spirits and how everyone watching in comes together in sharing their genuine love, passion, and excitement for their incredible achievements. It's midday in the UK, and I have some catching up to do. It's okay, I promise I'll be taking it easy. But Tony, I fully understand how powerful writing your goals down are so that they turn into dreams. Nice. And absolutely, just 10 minutes a day of practice is so easy to get back into. If, like me, you've been slightly inconvenienced over the past week, stuck in a hospital. But, folks, just one major point, if I may. It doesn't matter how many times you put the guitar down. As long as you pick it back up again, just for 10 minutes a day, you will achieve your goals. And what's more important, you will achieve your dreams. Stay safe, everyone, and have a brilliant 10 days to success.
Awesome. That's a great, man, you only gave me a glimpse of that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you waited for the full deal. That's outstanding. That's so awesome.
All right, let me throw a few more in there. Ian says small win was he incorporated second part of lick into some chord patterns that he's been working on, and it fits.
Nice.
So pumped. Russ says got the Santa Cruz Guitar Company low tension strings on my D28.
Nice.
After lowering the bridge, and it sounds and plays better than when I got it.
Oh.
Scotty says, I've played my guitar every day for 2 weeks. Some days, all I have time for is the warm-up and strumming scale or lick work, enjoying myself again.
Good. Awesome.
And let me throw one more in there if I can. Okay, so Douglas says, okay, small win. Hello from Switzerland. After running the warm-up exercise and moving up a fret on each cycle, I did something I hadn't done in the last 20-plus years. Drop my pick in the sound hole. But I got it out on the second shake.
Yeah.
Whoa, that never happens.
It's like the black hole.
Yeah,
that is indeed a small win for sure. I love that.
That's a great topic.
What's that?
The pick in the sound hole.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I'd be interested in yours, but I'm going to share mine.
The method?
So the method.
Okay.
My particular method is it goes in, and then I'm like, okay. Normally it's the students that goes in, and then I watch them for a bit, and then they'll say, here, let me help you. So you take it, you kind of swivel it so that you can see the pick through the sound hole, right?
Yeah.
You center it, and then you do the whoop, and then you do the flip.
Yeah.
Use the centrifugal force.
I was just, that's,
and then it just bloop, falls right out.
Yeah. Very similar to my method. So as the guitar's in the sound hole, I like to position it. So you see the back strip, right, the centerpiece running down your guitar. Position the pick so it's just above that, right? And then grab by the end pin in the neck and kind of swing it up like so. But the crucial part is there's 2 steps, okay, before you swing. First of all, you got to look around. Because I've done it, and you don't want to hear the noise that the guitar makes when it's flying above your head. Okay, so first look around so you don't run into anything. The second is the centrifugal force piece. You have to kind of keep that arch so that when you reach the pinnacle, the pick just falls right out.
I like your word choice.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, guys, I have a comment here from Jim Giffen. He says, I am learning to play lead after 50 years of playing mostly rhythm, and today was exceptionally eye-opening and taught me a lot.
Awesome.
Also, after seeing your Guitars for Vets video, I am considering donating 2 guitars that I have to them. They are not high-end ones, but are decent playable guitars. How would I go about this? So, Jim, after talking to Patrick, that's exactly the type of guitar they're looking for. And it should be very easy to donate.
Yeah.
We can actually hook you up with Patrick, but I know that on their site, there's a way to get in touch. So just Google Guitars for Vets. It'll bring up their website. And then you can just go there. And again, we'll try to follow up with really specific ways to help. I know there's a direct link to donate, and then there's probably a really specific way to donate guitars as well.
And when you search, it's Guitars, the number 4 Vets. Guitars for Vets.
Yeah.
Just keep that. It helps the search
We'll
results.
add some stuff to the group.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
So what's going on for tomorrow?
What's on tap for tomorrow? Well, tomorrow. So we improvised today, and that was a blast. And I hope you guys had a blast doing it. I loved playing the rhythm for you guys. In fact, tomorrow we're going to look at that very same rhythm I was playing, but do a little bit of a deeper dive. We're going to look at the exact rhythm I was playing, but then we're going to kind of zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to create bass walks in between chords, much like the ones that I used today. So there's kind of a specific formula for that, which I'll share with you tomorrow. And of course, gosh, I just want to thank you for being here on the 10-day challenge. Again, if you're new here, if you're like, how do I get involved with the 10-day challenge? It's super easy. Go to weplayeveryday.com. Go ahead and then click join the Facebook group. and then click on the course guide at the top of the Facebook group, and you'll see all the necessary details that you're going to need. Times, you can even tune into the live stream. There's a link there. There's also links for the archives and the tabs as well. So with that being said, I want to thank you from all of us here for joining us for another day. Tomorrow is Rhythm Guitar Day. It's Thursday, so make sure to have a great rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Time right here. It'll be a blast. I can't wait to see you. Cheers. My name is Tony Policastro. I'm part of an underground group of acoustic guitar enthusiasts you've probably never heard of. We're not here to play face-melting guitar solos or judge other guitar players. Our purpose is much greater than that. For us, it's about expanding our quality of life through music and having fun with our guitar, not just mastering it. Getting better at guitar is proof that we do have what it takes to be a guitar player, which means we can build stronger bonds with friends and create lasting musical family traditions. But if you asked a guitar snob or a music academic, they would turn up their nose and say their way is better. Yet this way of seeing the guitar is changing lives every single day. We follow a specific framework and set of values that keeps us focused on what matters most: human connection, constant progress, and fun. It's happening, and we call it living the acoustic life. This is our acoustic life, and these are our stories.